Hola, muy buenas tardes. This is a lesson on indirect object pronouns, part one, particularly focusing on the form of indirect object pronouns. Okay, so I want to first start by giving you a little bit of context in terms of, first of all, what is an indirect object, and then focusing on what it looks like. In the second part of this lesson, we will talk about how to actually use indirect object pronouns in a sentence. So, okay, indirect objects. Let's think of any given sentence as having three pieces of the puzzle. The first puzzle being the subject, who is the sentence about, who is the agent who creates the action in the sentence. The second piece of the puzzle then would be the direct object. So the subject is going to have direct contact with either an object or even a person. So they are the direct object. And then the third piece of the sentence, or the third piece of the puzzle, is the person that is the recipient of that action. Okay, so one more time. Piece number one is the subject. Let's give it an example. Let's say it's a football quarterback. Piece two is the direct object. Let's call that for now the football itself. And then piece three of this sentence or this puzzle would be the receiver or the recipient of the action of the quarterback throwing the football. Okay? So the subject specifically, we've already learned these pronouns in Espanol. If you yourself are the subject of the sentence you're speaking, you're talking about yourself, then that pronoun is yo. But in this particular lesson, we're not focusing on who the subject is. We're focusing on who the indirect object is, right? So in this case, we have the quarterback. They're going to be the subject. We have the football, which is going to, in this example, be the direct object because the quarterback has direct contact with, I used to have a football in the room, I no longer do, with the actual football. And then the person catching the ball is the indirect object. So if you think about it, the quarterback is all the way over there, the football comes flying up in the air, and then the receiver catches it. The receiver in this particular play has no direct contact with the actual quarterback. That contact is established indirectly through the football. Okay? All right, so in this example, then, yo is no longer the pronoun we're going to use if I happen to be the recipient. In that case, I, or in Espanol, yo, becomes me. So I'm going to go ahead and write that here, me. That is the indirect object pronoun that we use when I am the receiver of that football. If instead the football is caught by the person I am speaking to, in this case, you, in Espanol, it's not going to be tú, it's going to be te. Okay? Now, if instead this person catching the ball happens to be he or she or the you formal, those pronouns then all of a sudden in Espanol become le. Okay? Very good. Now, if instead of the singular indirect object pronouns, what we have are plural object pronouns, then the idea is, for example, the football is coming in the air and the group of us catches the ball. So when I say us, I am included. Then that indirect object pronoun is going to be nos. In today's lesson, I'm going to go ahead and include the eclectic Spanish from Spain form of vosotros pronoun. So if a group of you all in the informal are the ones catching the ball, then instead of vosotros, the indirect object pronoun becomes os. Finally, the third, or rather sixth form of indirect object pronouns is the one we're going to use when a group of people, not including self. So for example, you all in the formal, ustedes, or they, either a group of boys or a group of girls or a group of mixed, so ellos or ellas, that indirect object pronoun is les. Okay? So very simple. In today's part 1 of indirect object pronouns, we're simply looking at the form. So the new set of pronouns, indirect object pronouns, is the following. Me, if I happen to be catching the ball. Te, if you happen to catch the ball. Le, if it's he or she or you formal catching the ball. And then it's going to be nos if a group of us catches the ball. It's going to be os if a group of you all in the informal catch the ball. And it's going to be les if it's a group of you all in the formal, ustedes, or they, in español, ellos or ellas. That pronoun changes to les. So you need to learn me, te, le, nos, os, and les. And that's it in terms of form. Okay, in the second part of this lesson, which I will record shortly, I will focus on how exactly we use me, te, le, nos, os, or les in a sentence. Okay, thank you for joining us. I hope this short video helps you understand the form of indirect object pronouns.